Have you ever been told that your body's natural responses are something to hide? Have you ever felt embarrassed by something that was never wrong with you to begin with? What if the very thing many women feel ashamed of is actually one of the most intelligent systems your body has ever created? Hi, I'm Dr. Nana, and today on Senior Health Boost, we're breaking a silence that's lasted for generations. You see, research from Harvard and the National Institutes of Health reveals that over 60% of women have felt embarrassed or uncomfortable about their body's natural lubrication, not because it's unhealthy, but because of outdated myths passed down for decades. But let me tell you this clearly, that fluid is not dirt, it's biology. It's your body's signal of connection, protection, and trust. When misunderstood, this natural system doesn't just affect confidence. It quietly damages intimacy, communication, and emotional safety in relationships. That's why, in today's episode, we'll uncover the 5 most common mistakes people make when it comes to vaginal health and the simple, science-backed lessons that can completely transform closeness between partners. We'll go from why natural discharge is your body's best defense, to how smell, taste, and even silence can shape emotional connection. And when we reach number 1, I'll share the most powerful secret that every couple over 50 should know, a truth that can restore comfort, confidence, and warmth in your relationship. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? And what's one health myth you were told growing up? Share it in the comments below. Here on Senior Health Boost, I actually read and respond to your stories. Because real health isn't just about the body, it's about understanding and connection. Now, let's start with mistake number 5, one that many couples never talk about openly. Too many people still believe that vaginal fluid is something to hide or feel ashamed of. But the truth? It's one of the most sophisticated biological systems your body has ever engineered. Let's break it down simply. Inside the vaginal area, there are tiny glands working together like nature's own protection team. The Bartholin glands, located on each side, release natural lubrication to reduce friction and keep tissues comfortable. The Skene's glands, often called the female prostate, enhance moisture when you're aroused. And deep within, the cervix produces a mucus that balances pH and creates a natural barrier against bacteria. According to a Harvard study, this natural discharge contains amino acids, enzymes, minerals, and lactic acid, powerful elements that can reduce vaginal infections by nearly 60%. So, rather than being something dirty, it's actually self-cleaning, self-balancing, and self-protecting. Think of it like engine oil in your car. When it's there, everything runs smoothly. When it's gone, friction and damage begin to build up. Let me share a quick story. Sarah Miller, 56, from Ohio, once told me she felt embarrassed because her husband complained she was too wet. She thought something was wrong with her body. But once she learned the truth, that this natural response was a sign of trust and safety, everything changed. Their intimacy became warmer, more connected, and free of shame or misunderstanding. A Johns Hopkins review even found that women who maintain healthy vaginal flora experience 40% fewer infections and greater satisfaction in intimacy. It's proof that nature knows what it's doing. Fluctuations are normal. Hydration, stress, medications, even the menstrual cycle, all of these can change the amount and texture of natural discharge. Some days may feel wetter, others more neutral. Avoid douching and heavily scented soaps. They strip away protective bacteria and disturb your natural balance. Instead, use a gentle, water-based, pH-balanced lubricant if needed, and wear breathable cotton underwear. Even small habits, like changing out of workout clothes quickly, help your body maintain its natural rhythm. And for partners, the words you use matter deeply. Try saying something like, "I appreciate how your body responds when you feel safe." That simple sentence tells your partner that their body's response isn't wrong, it's welcome. Because acceptance isn't passive. It's an active choice that turns biology into bonding. So here's the real truth. Vaginal fluid isn't something to fear or hide. It's your body's language of connection. When couples learn to see it this way, shame disappears and in its place grow confidence, understanding, and trust. And remember, when a man embraces this truth, he sends a message more powerful than words: "You are safe with me." That belief alone can transform how both partners experience closeness. Now that we've explored what makes this natural system so remarkable, let's move to page 2, where we'll uncover the next major mistake most couples never realize they're making and how to fix it with science, empathy, and care. Previously, we learned that vaginal fluid isn't something to hide or feel ashamed of. It's your body's intelligent way of creating connection, protection, and trust. Now let's talk about something just as misunderstood, something that often causes unnecessary worry for couples over 50, changes in scent and taste. Have you ever noticed that the smell or taste down there seems different from time to time, and immediately felt concerned? You're not alone. Many women quietly panic when they notice a shift, assuming it must mean something is wrong. But here's the truth. That change isn't danger. It's biology. Your body's chemistry isn't fixed. It's alive. It breathes, responds, and evolves. Diet, hydration, stress, medication, and hormones, they all influence your body's natural balance. When you eat more pineapple or citrus fruits, or simply drink more water, the natural scent often becomes lighter and fresher. On the other hand, foods like garlic, onions, alcohol, or coffee can make it stronger. These variations don't mean you're unclean. They mean your body is doing exactly what it's designed to do, responding. According to research from the National Institutes of Health, vaginal pH naturally shifts during a woman's cycle from about 3.8 to 4.5. That may sound like a small difference, but it's enough to noticeably alter scent and taste. Unfortunately, many couples mistake that natural variation for poor hygiene, and that misunderstanding creates guilt, silence, and shame where there should be none. But let's be clear. Change is not a red flag. It's a reflection of life moving through your body. Still, there are moments when a shift deserves attention. If the odor turns sharp, fishy, or sour and is accompanied by itching, burning, or thick discharge, it could be a sign of bacterial vaginosis or a yeast overgrowth. In fact, around 30% of women experience bacterial vaginosis at least once in their lifetime, and it's easily treatable when recognized early. So instead of rushing to judgment or embarrassment, listen gently. Your body speaks long before it ever cries for help. It whispers through small changes, asking you to notice. When you pay attention without fear, healing stays simple, natural, and compassionate. And here's something many people overlook. Scent and taste are not just chemistry, they're lifestyle. The way you live affects the way your body feels and smells. Drinking enough water, managing stress, and wearing breathable fabrics all help maintain that natural balance. Tight, synthetic underwear or long hours in fitted clothing can trap moisture and shift bacterial levels, creating imbalance. Even small adjustments like changing out of workout clothes soon after exercising or sleeping without underwear at night can make a real difference. These habits allow air to circulate, helping your body maintain its healthy rhythm. But let's go even deeper. Scent and taste aren't only physical, they're also emotional. The brain connects them directly to memory, intimacy, and attraction. Think about it. The way someone smells can instantly remind you of comfort, safety, or desire. It's part of how the human mind creates emotional bonds. So when partners accept these natural shifts instead of fearing them, trust deepens. That acceptance builds connection stronger than any technique ever could. For many women, learning this truth is liberating. It turns what was once a source of worry into a sign of life, a reminder that their body is beautifully responsive, not flawed. And for men, understanding this creates empathy and confidence. It helps them support their partner instead of misinterpreting what's natural. If you're watching this right now and realizing just how much misinformation has shaped your comfort and confidence, I'd truly love to hear from you. Type 1 in the comments if this makes you feel more reassured, or O if you still have questions. Here on Senior Health Boost, I, Dr. Nana, personally read through your stories because your voice might give someone else the courage to heal, to trust, and to reconnect. The message here is simple. Change is not a flaw. Silence and shame are. Curiosity keeps love alive, and understanding keeps it safe. And speaking of safety, that brings us to the next question, one that many couples wonder about quietly but rarely talk about out loud. Is swallowing safe? It's a question that has sparked countless whispers and myths, yet few honest answers. So, let's take the stigma away and look at what science actually says. When the conversation turns to safety and intimacy, many couples go silent. And it's easy to understand why. Talking about personal topics like this can feel awkward, even for people who've been together for decades. But avoiding the topic doesn't make it safer, it actually creates more confusion and risk. So, here's the truth. For healthy, monogamous couples, swallowing is generally safe. But generally doesn't mean always. That's because bodily fluids, while natural, can still carry microscopic risks, especially if one partner has an untreated infection or even a small sore inside the mouth. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the chance of transmitting certain viruses such as herpes or chlamydia through oral contact can rise by about 15% when there are open cuts or irritation in the mouth. The risk of HIV transmission is much lower, but it can still occur if blood is present. So, does that mean couples should be afraid? Absolutely not. It means awareness. Not fear is the best form of protection. Here's what real safety looks like. Schedule health checkups together twice a year. Get tested for common sexually transmitted infections, even if you both feel perfectly fine. Transparency builds confidence and keeps both partners relaxed. When you remove uncertainty, you make more space for trust. For those who worry that protection might ruin the moment, here's something important to remember: it doesn't. In fact, it protects the moment. Knowing you're both safe allows you to be more open, more confident, and more present. Many couples actually report feeling more spontaneous and free when they know they're protected and healthy. Safety isn't the opposite of pleasure. It's the foundation that makes real pleasure possible. Because when you eliminate fear and doubt, what's left is connection, honest, open, and deeply human. So, as we move forward, remember this: scent, taste, and safety are all parts of the same language, your body's language of connection and care. When you listen to it with understanding instead of judgment, you give your relationship something far more powerful than perfection. You give it trust. And speaking of trust, the next topic is one that often challenges even the most open couples. It's about how the brain and the body communicate during intimacy and how one small misunderstanding can change everything. In the last part, we talked about how awareness and honesty create safety, not just physical safety, but emotional peace. Now let's go one step deeper, because safety isn't suspicion, it's respect. Being honest about your health or comfort isn't awkward, it's intimate. It says, I care about you enough to protect both of us. That single act turns care into connection. If you've avoided these talks out of fear or discomfort, start small. Bring it up kindly, not critically. Ask instead of accuse. Use curiosity, not blame. Try saying, can we talk about what helps us feel safe? Instead of, you never tell me anything. That tone changes everything. And if you agree that trust and honesty should always come before technique, let me know in the comments. Press 1 if this feels true for you, or 0 if you're still figuring it out. Here on Senior Health Boost, I'm Dr. Nana, and I personally read your stories. Because every honest question helps someone else find courage to speak. According to the American Journal of Sexual Health, couples who communicate about their sexual well-being report 35% higher satisfaction and significantly lower stress. In other words, honesty may be the most powerful aphrodisiac we have. So remember, safety isn't a barrier to passion, it's the foundation of it. When both partners feel safe, their minds quiet, their bodies relax, and real connection can finally happen. But what happens when fear or silence stops people from sharing at all? That takes us to mistake number 2. The habit that quietly breaks connection even in the most loving relationships. One of the most painful mistakes in long-term love isn't about the body. It's about silence. Couples drift apart not because of aging or illness, but because they stop talking about what feels different. Hormones shift, medications change, stress rises, menopause arrives, and bodies respond differently. Sometimes it's vaginal dryness or less natural lubrication. Sometimes it's discomfort or fatigue. None of this is unusual. But when it's left unspoken, misunderstanding moves in. What's felt physically gets translated emotionally. A woman feels pain but says nothing. Her partner senses distance and assumes rejection. A man feels confused and withdraws, thinking he's no longer desired. And just like that, silence builds an invisible wall, thicker than any argument. Let me tell you about Donna Williams, 62, from Colorado. For years, she and her husband shared everything except their changing intimacy. After menopause, Donna began to feel discomfort but was too embarrassed to mention it. Her husband, believing she no longer wanted him, quietly pulled away. Months turned into years of polite distance. Two good people separated by something neither understood. During a routine checkup, Donna's doctor gently explained that her body was simply adapting to lower estrogen levels, nothing to be ashamed of. Armed with that understanding, Donna found the courage to talk. What started as an awkward conversation became a turning point. Together they tried small changes, moisturizers, communication before intimacy, longer foreplay. Slowly, warmth returned. What once felt like an ending became a new beginning. That's the power of conversation. When we speak from care instead of fear, we invite our partner to meet us halfway. The simple act of talking creates emotional safety, a signal that says, we're still in this together. Neuroscience proves it. Researchers at Stanford University found that couples who discuss their physical and emotional needs openly show over 30% higher oxytocin levels, the very hormone that builds trust and connection. That chemical shift lowers anxiety, relaxes the body, and deepens affection. So when you choose to talk instead of hide, you're not just fixing a relationship, you're literally changing your brain chemistry toward bonding. The lesson here is simple but profound. Silence doesn't protect love. It starves it. Honest words, spoken with kindness, heal faster than any treatment or technique. They remind both partners that they're still a team, still growing, still choosing connection over fear. And that brings us to the final and most powerful truth of all. Because once we understand how communication restores closeness, there's only one step left, the one that ties everything together. It's the step that turns understanding into unconditional love. The step that transforms aging from something to fear into something to embrace. It's about learning to fully accept and celebrate the person we love. That's mistake number one, the final secret ingredient that makes every other lesson work. After everything we've explored, biology, scent, safety, and communication, one truth remains constant, the power of acceptance. When a man fully accepts his partner's body, especially as it changes with age, something remarkable happens. Her nervous system relaxes, her breathing steadies, her natural responses return without effort. What once felt forced becomes effortless again. Acceptance isn't just emotional, it's biological. It tells the body, you are safe, you are loved exactly as you are. And that signal changes everything. In the next part, we'll uncover exactly why acceptance has such a measurable effect on chemistry, attraction, and emotional security, and how couples can practice it every day. Join me, Dr. Nana, on the next page of Senior Health Boost, where we'll explore the science and the beauty behind true acceptance. When we left off, we discovered that acceptance isn't just emotional, it's biological. The moment your body feels truly safe, everything changes. Here's why. The body's relaxation response, controlled by what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, only activates when you feel safe and accepted. It's the same system that slows your heart rate, lowers stress hormones like cortisol, and allows natural lubrication to flow. In other words, feeling accepted doesn't just heal your mind, it literally heals your body. And nowhere is that truth more powerful than in real life. Let me share a story that captures this beautifully. David Johnson, 60 years old, from Oregon, spent years chasing perfection in his marriage. He thought intimacy was about performance, about getting everything right, saying the right words, doing all the right things. But the harder he tried, the more tense both of them became. He could feel the distance growing, but didn't know how to close it. One evening, after another quiet, uneasy moment, his wife gently said, "I don't need you to fix me. I just want you to look at me." Those 7 words changed everything. Instead of trying to control the moment, David finally let go. He stopped focusing on what he should do and started focusing on simply being there. He listened to her breathing. He touched her hand without expectation. He looked into her eyes, not searching for approval, but for presence. That night wasn't flawless, but it was real. For the first time in years, they both laughed freely, softly, fully. They relaxed. They connected. What changed wasn't technique, it was trust. And science backs up what they felt. Studies from Stanford University and the University of Chicago show that when partners feel emotionally safe, oxytocin levels rise by over 35, while anxiety hormones like cortisol drop by nearly half. That single shift doesn't just improve mood, it deepens pleasure, strengthens connection, and improves overall well-being. Acceptance creates a feedback loop. When one person feels truly seen and loved without condition, the body releases hormones that make them even more open, affectionate, and responsive. That openness then reassures the partner, reinforcing a cycle of closeness and calm. It's a circle of safety, built not on performance, but on presence. So the lesson is clear. Acceptance isn't the opposite of desire, it's the foundation of it. The more we accept, the more we connect. The body, the mind, and the heart all respond to the same signal. You are safe here. And when that signal is strong, intimacy becomes something far greater than physical. It becomes healing. Because in the end, the deepest connection doesn't come from trying harder, learning new tricks, or chasing perfection. It comes from seeing each other fully, from aging together with grace, curiosity, and compassion. Love grows strongest where judgment disappears. That's the quiet secret of lasting intimacy, and it's where every true story of healing begins. Think about that for a moment. Every time you let go of judgment, you make room for love. Every time you choose to understand instead of correct, you create safety. And every time you listen not to reply, but to understand, you teach your partner's body that it's okay to relax. That's not just romance. That's biology working hand in hand with emotion. So now, you've seen how 5 quiet misunderstandings can slowly erode confidence, trust, and pleasure, and how just a little awareness can bring all 3 back. Your body isn't broken. It's evolving. It's communicating in its own language through scent, through sensation, through rhythm and response. Every change is a conversation between biology and emotion. Every fluctuation is your body saying, "This is what I need today." And when you learn to listen with kindness instead of judgment, everything begins to heal, not just your body, but your relationship too. True intimacy begins where fear ends. When you and your partner accept each other with curiosity instead of criticism, the body responds with calm, warmth, and connection. That's the space where trust grows. That's where love becomes medicine. And remember, love isn't about staying the same. It's about growing together, slowly, imperfectly, but always toward understanding. Even in moments that feel awkward or uncertain, that willingness to keep trying, to keep listening, that is love in motion. I'm Dr. Nana, and I believe education is the most healing form of touch. Because when you understand your body, you stop fighting it and you start working with it. If today's talk brought you comfort, clarity, or even a small moment of peace, then please take a second to like this video and subscribe to Senior Health Boost. Every week, we explore science-based truths about your body, your health, and your relationships, with compassion, honesty, and heart. Your journey toward healing doesn't stop here. It continues every time you choose curiosity over shame, openness over silence, and connection over fear. Because your body was never the problem, silence was. So keep learning, keep loving, and keep believing. You are safe here. And you are never too old to reconnect with yourself, your partner, and your joy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode right here on Senior Health Boost.